I was getting like Levi's had me over to their office and were kitting me out in Levi's clothes, and it just all went like really crazy, like really fast. It was a very exciting point in my life, definitely. Hi.
Hi, how are
Where I
you?
do this every time, my screen is always flipped the wrong way around.
It's all good. Sometimes it doesn't even flip. Like if you flip it, it'll just flip you also. So I'm glad it was able to work out.
How
Well,
are
nice to
you?
meet you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
I'm Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music. We'll talk about the EP and your new song Deja Vu as well.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, very exciting.
Very cool. So first off, where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Derbyshire,
Okay.
and I then moved to Italy for a bit, and then back to Derby, then to Brussels, and then to St Ives, all with my dad's job.
Oh, wow. Okay. You
Yeah, so
lived
I
in
was kind of
Derby?
everywhere. Yeah, I lived in Derby. It's like I lived in this little estate called Heverton for a few years growing up, and went to like primary school there. But I did most of my growing up in St Ives. That's where I went to like secondary school, and all my friends now are in St Ives and stuff.
Oh, interesting. I only asked because of do you know the band The Struts?
Yes.
Okay, they're from Derby.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, those are good friends of
Oh,
mine.
weird.
Yeah, isn't that
No
random?
way. That is so weird. Maybe they know went to the school I went to or something. I was at a school called called no, it was Little Over Community School, and I was there for like a few months before I moved abroad. So it was like a big
Okay.
one in Derby. So they might have even gone to that
They
school,
probably went
which
there.
is
Yeah, I don't really
yeah,
know what school they went to, but that's so funny.
it's so weird. Small world.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you moved abroad at what age?
So I moved abroad when I was about 11.
Okay, you moved to Italy,
Um,
is that what you said?
oh, I moved to Italy when I was about 3 or 4. So I was only there about a year. So I only
Okay,
picked up on a little bit of the
so tell me,
slang and
yeah,
stuff.
tell me where you how you bounced around because it sounds like you lived a lot of places.
Yeah, so my dad's job, he worked for an international business, so we had to move around a bit with that, and it was challenging, but it opened my eyes to a lot of the world, and I'm very grateful that I got to experience all those cultures and stuff, and
Hmm.
I learned new languages. And I was like 13, having to speak French in the city and stuff like that, which was
Wow.
really unusual for me. I was not someone that grew up in environments like that, so it was challenging, but I really loved it, and it's made me definitely love traveling now. Like I'm always
Hmm.
thinking about where to go next and where to play with gigs and stuff, so
Sure.
definitely it's awesome.
Wow, wow. So can you still speak French, or is that something that you just knew as a kid?
A little bit. I can speak like a little bit of French, like enough to get me by. Like, I went to Spain. Weirdly, I went to Spain in October, and some guy was speaking to me in Spanish, and I only know a tiny bit of Spanish, and I was like, oh, I can't really speak it. And then he was saying French, and I was like, yeah, I can speak like petit français, and I was like speaking a little bit in French
Yeah.
to him, and but that was like the only time I've done it in years. So that was really like, how on earth did I remember that? It was so weird.
That's awesome though. So when did you get into music, or like when did you start playing music?
So I've been doing music my whole life. So I was always like singing. My mum used to sing in a band when she was growing up, and she's had like
Oh,
singing
wow.
lessons and stuff. So my mum is classically trained how to sing. So she taught me how to sing. And I picked a guitar up when I was about 9, just because I was like obsessed with like Hannah Montana and music. I just love music. So I learned guitar at 9, and then I started writing songs at 11. And I was about
Wow.
probably about 9 when I knew that's what I wanted to do. I kind of was always known though. It's weird. Like I remember being like 4 or 5 and understanding that I wanted to do music. Um, but yeah, so I was 11 and I wrote a song. It was complete fiction. I watched a lot of films,
Hmm.
so I wrote a song about like this like boyfriend who obviously I didn't have a boyfriend, but this like boyfriend figure, and he was like in a car crash, and it was really dramatic. And I like got on stage and sang this song to like
Whoa.
400 people, and everyone was like, "What is she doing?"
Oh my gosh. First, how did you get a show playing to 400 people?
It was a school I was in. We had like this massive like auditorium, which was really great. And we did a lot of like concerts and stuff. And this was in Brussels at a school called BSB. And yeah, it was. I
You
was
did like a talent show or something?
It was like a rock show. So I actually had to convince the teachers to let me do it because I was too young.
Okay.
And I did, and then I started doing them all, but I was like the youngest by like 3 years, pretty much
So there
every
are other
time.
kids that played music
Yeah.
at the school, and they would put together like a concert of all the bands from the school.
Yeah, I kind of just did like all the concerts that they had going though, like even the jazz ones. Like I just find a way in to performing. I just be like, oh, I heard you've got this one going on. Can I do this one? And they just kind of let me do all of them. The teachers are like, there was a couple that were like really took me under their wing and just kind of let me play on anything I wanted to do. So it was
That's so
really
cool.
great, just like building my stage confidence and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just performing regularly, that definitely helped and got me used to being on stage.
So when you sang the song about this boyfriend and this car accident and all that, you you said 11 when that
Yeah, I was
happened?
like 11. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't even know
gosh.
why I came up with that. I think I just watched something, I don't know, like The Time Traveler's Wife or something really dramatic. And I just went and wrote a really dramatic song about, I genuinely don't even know. I just had a bit of a wild imagination.
Sure.
But
But
yeah, I think a lot of parents were confused.
right, but you did this. Was that your first show you ever played, and was that the first time you ever played that song really in front of people?
Yeah, it was the first song I ever like played of my own. I sang on stage like songs like Whitney Houston songs and stuff growing up at like school assemblies and things, but
Okay.
I'd never played a song of my own. And that was like my first experience of being on stage, like with my guitar, just like by myself with my own song and just like watching everyone's faces, like how people react to it. Cause that was something that scared me so much was like, is everyone going to laugh at me? So I
Mm-hmm.
was like an 11-year-old girl. I don't know. I just felt like a fish out of water, like completely. Like all the other kids at the concert were like a lot older, and a lot of them were like had like leather jackets on, and they were like quite rock and roll. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like just there with my acoustic guitar, and I didn't really know how I was going to be perceived. Um, but I just, it went well. I did it again. So,
Yeah. Like, how did you get the
yeah.
confidence to get up there? It was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Who cares?
Yeah, it was completely like I don't know. I was always like never phased by being on stage. Like I was actually in some ways more confident on stage than off stage because I was quite shy growing up, and it's almost like sometimes like you're putting on an alter ego, like
Mm-hmm.
a more exaggerated version of yourself. So I just kind of did it and then just kept doing it, and I loved it. I learned to, it became a very safe space for me.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. What was the reaction when you got off stage to the song that you had played at 11? That didn't like have any sort of like, first off, like what was that song about? That's so crazy. And then that, like getting that reaction, did that, affect you as far as like getting up and doing it again or not at all? Was it like, or running your song maybe by someone? I don't know. Did that deter you at all?
Well, everyone was like really supportive, and
Okay.
um everyone was coming up to me after the show. I was the youngest one there by quite a lot, and just being really, I was about 11. Everyone was
Mm-hmm.
just being really, really nice and supportive, like, oh, I love that and this about it. And I think that definitely gave me the confidence to get up and do it again. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one teacher called Neil, and he was like really cool, and he used to liken me to Joni Mitchell when I was younger because I had like the long hair with my guitar. And then I got into Joni Mitchell, and I thought, oh, that's a really cool compliment. If he thinks my writing's like that, then he
Mm-hmm.
must think I'm like that. And that's like a really big thing for me. And that kind of gave me a bit of confidence as well if people thought that I was good enough to go up again. So yeah, just kind of naturally, I just kept doing it.
Mm-hmm. And then when do you like, and that's just kind of how you continued to just build your following, and then like you had what, another song that was #1 on the iTunes charts? Is that what I read?
Yeah.
Was that much
So
later?
yeah, so that happened when I was 19, and it was a
Okay.
song called I Wish It Didn't End Like This. It was a music video, went to #1, and it went
Wow.
like really crazy. So I woke up in the morning. Basically, I did an interview with a guy, and he sold the interview without me knowing to some major press. So I woke up on one Monday morning, and I was in the metro, and I had like my picture all in the metro, and I was in like the Daily Mail, and
Oh wow.
I was getting like major labels emailing me and managers and like the top agents, and like it went absolutely crazy. And I was like in London like straight away. when that happened, and it all happened really fast.
Mhm.
And yeah, so this song, I Wish Didn't Like This, I wrote it in like 20 minutes, my bathroom floor, when I was like heartbroken. And I
Mhm.
went and recorded it, and it was a really special one for me. And yeah, I just put it out there, did a music video, and it went to number one. It definitely like changed my life. Like I went on like radio for Women's Hour, and I was getting interviews from like, I was in like Hello Mag, and
Wow.
I was getting like, Levi's had me over to their office and were kitting me out in Levi's clothes, and it just all went like really crazy, like really fast. It was a very exciting point in my life, definitely.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get to that part. So before that, you were just was it just continued to write and put music out, and like when did it, like what were you doing prior to that moment when that song really blew up?
Yeah, so I've been releasing music since I was about 17.
Okay.
I'd been kind of just writing and performing and independently growing up, just because I loved it, but also I wanted to build like a following and kind of get my, I guess, like, I'm trying to think of the word. I completely forgotten the word, but I just really
Okay.
wanted to, I guess, develop myself
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get comfortable on stage, and understand what I was doing and understand the industry. And I did it an A-level course at college, which like focused on the industry and different like deals, and different like doing it independently versus with a label versus independent labels, and what happens when you have a manager or an agent on board. So I was getting myself like clued up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to understand it properly before I like went into the industry. And then I was releasing music from about 17. And then uni came about, and I never went to uni. I decided to just go for it with music, and then reapply if it all went wrong. Uni's always an option there somewhere for me, but I knew it wasn't my route. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I just went through it and started doing music full time since I was about 18.
Wow. Okay. So you went to, do you feel like that class and that schooling prepared you for that moment when you were 19 and that video just went nuts?
Yeah, in a lot of ways it did, because um, I understood the music industry in a way that I wouldn't have if I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more though that you don't anticipate and that you can't learn, because one of the funny things about the music industry is that like things happen randomly when you don't expect it. And pretty much everything that's happened to me with music has happened when I've not expected it, or you can't prepare yourself. So you kind of just have to, when you go into it, just know that you could get a call from this guy to do an interview, or you could um play a show and there's a lot more people there than you think, or
Mm-hmm.
you just never know what's going to happen or what's around the corner. So I think just learning as much as you can from an early age and preparing yourself, I guess, is the best thing you can do. But nothing did really prepare me for when everything went crazy with that
Mm-hmm. So,
with
well,
that song.
yeah, tell me about that song again. Okay, so you put the song out in the music video, and you uploaded it onto iTunes, not thinking you just do it independently like you would any other song, independent, or just put it up there to see what it's going to do. And then how quickly does it go to number one? And tell me like what, like that whole piece of it, like how did that all happen?
So the song was out first, and then I released the music video, and that went to number one. Like I think it was like overnight or something. Like it was
Wow.
pretty much straight away. People would have probably pre-saved it as well and pre-downloaded it, and that before, when it's released, then it goes straight into the charts if people already
Yeah,
buy it
yeah.
beforehand.
Just based off
Um,
of what the success of the song originally going out? Like how did, like, do
yeah.
you know how that all happened? Like the pre-saves and all of that?
Um, so with like the song itself, I know the song was actually featured on a Spotify playlist, which was really cool,
Okay.
like an
That's help.
editorial.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
so that started to generate some streams and stuff through being things like that. And that's like a Spotify editorial playlist is like a really big thing for an artist, because you never know if you're going to get on one, and when you do, it's like really, really lucky. And so that probably would have helped. But the music video, yeah, I wasn't really expecting that, if I'm honest. It was like, you just kind of hope people are going to like it and people download it, but then it went to #1, and I was like right next to like the Pussycat Dolls and like Kylie Minogue and Miley Cyrus and people like that, and I was like, oh hey.
That's so crazy. So at that point, like you woke up in the morning, you look over or you check the charts or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm at #1. Like,
Yeah.
what? And then was
Yeah.
it that later that day you start seeing press about you?
So no, so what happened was a couple of press wrote about it, some like local press, and then some guy saw that I was #1 in the iTunes charts, and he like music video, and he messaged me. It's like, do you want to do an interview? And he didn't really say like who he was, but I was just like, yeah, sure, that's cool. So he gave me a ring, and we just had a chat about the song, about how it came about. And what actually happened was he said to me, so what's it like being next to the Pussycat Dolls? And I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I had a Happy Meal toy of them when I was a kid. And he went, do you want to be a
Happy Meal toy?
Yeah, like a ringing phone thing of
That's
like
crazy. I
one
didn't
of
know
their
that.
songs. Yeah. And so I said that, and he was like,
You
would
must
you
have
like to
cooler
be
toys, cooler McDonald's toys than we do here.
I had some really like class McDonald's toys. But yeah, it was funny because he was like, would you like to be a Happy Meal toy? And I was like, it's the dream, but I said it sarcastically.
Sure.
And that's what the Metro put as a headline, that the meal deal. So that must have been like the thing that sold. Like the catch.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
So
that's funny.
yeah, so then that happened literally like a few days after I did the interview, and I had no idea. I thought it was just going to go to some like local paper or something, and then it went in the press, like in the like pretty much everywhere. It was like everywhere in the UK. So so yeah, that's what
and
happened.
Then you get all these calls, then people are just like, hey, like, you know, what are you up to? Like, we're blah 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 label. And then what are you thinking at this point? Like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. Like, how do you navigate now having all this attention really quickly?
Well, I was like, I thought I'd been on like Punk'd, like Aston Kutcher's Punk'd or something. So it was like my mum came in and she was like, Bailey, you're in the Metro. And I'm like, what? Like, am I? Well, I don't remember doing that. And I was like, oh my God, that's the interview I did. But it was very overwhelming because I was like 19, and I didn't, you know, it's not really something I know people have gone through, like people I know I've gone through. So it was like I couldn't speak, you know, my friends and stuff hadn't gone through it. So it was quite unusual. But it was like, I was so excited by it. I was like, this is such a rare opportunity.
Sure.
I'm just going to try and make the most of this opportunity. And I spent quite a bit of time in London, like going to meetings and stuff. And then COVID happened, and it put a hold
during
on
that whole wave. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was like unfortunate COVID happened, but at the same time, I'm very lucky that it happened before COVID, because it might not have happened at all if, like, the press might not have ever happened if, you know, COVID came sooner.
Sure. So that happens, and then you have all this momentum, and then COVID happens, and then how do you deal with that? And is that when you start working on this EP, or are you concerned with, okay, like now this is going on, like, is that gonna, you know, put the fire out on my song and my, you know, music?
Well, it was like really, really hard, like being in the industry when, like, independently when COVID happened. I'm very, very lucky that, you know, I got the support of my parents and, you know, that stability. But for an independent artist, I know lots of artists that really, really struggled, you know, just getting like food on the table. Like, so I've got friends, like artists who have kids, and their whole income is from gigs. And it's like, you know, they're like, how are we meant to make money in this situation? And it was really hard. But I was very lucky that I have the stability of being at home with my parents. So I just spent the whole time making the most out of being at home, writing a lot of music. I wrote like pretty much most of the EP. I think maybe even all the EP in lockdown.
Wow.
there's one, or I think it's just one song on the EP. Yeah, one song on the EP is a co-write, and I did that in lockdown on Skype or Zoom or something. So that was cool. And then I did like sessions. So I did like a sessions for Boardmasters and for Levi's and DC Shoes. And I'm with like Select, which is like a model management in the UK, like in London, but I'm on their talent roster. So I did a few things like DC Shoes through them.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool. So I was keeping myself busy and just writing, and just kind of like, I guess there's two ways you can go about it. Like with lockdown, you can like be in the house and be really bored and like crying, or you can be like, you know what, I'm gonna get off my ass and work and just do as much as I can. So that's what I did. Even though we're only allowed out of the house like once a day at that point, which is really hard.
Yeah,
really
hard.
My goodness. But yeah.
So
yeah, it was busy.
So your new song is Deja Vu.
Yes.
That's the newest one. Tell me about the song. And then is there a music video? I couldn't find a music video. And if there is a music video, does it have to do with the photographs you post on Instagram and the cover of it?
Yeah, no, so it's not related to the artwork, but I'm actually filming the music video tomorrow.
Oh,
which is funny timing. Yeah, so I'm shooting the video tomorrow. But yeah, so Deja Vu, the band and I, so all the songs on the EP that's coming out, or Deja Vu being one of them, the band and I worked really hard on together, and I kind of wrote that one inspired by like Mazzy Star and like that shoegazy 90s feeling, that holiday summer kind of feeling. And there's like Fade Into You by Mazzy Star was really influential on that one, and the Cardigans have been very influential on the album, like the EP as well. So yeah, when I was writing that one, it came about really quick. That one, actually, I wrote that one really fast. I think sometimes when I get into like a flow of a song, it just happens, like it just pours out of me in like an hour max. Like I don't tend to spend more than an hour writing the song originally, and then I'll go back and edit it and make it better.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's quick.
Yeah,
an hour.
Yeah, it's really fast. It's a really weird like process though. Like it just happens really fast, and then I'm kind of a little bit like confused, like where did all that come from? I've used words here that like I don't use in usual like modern day language, like why do I write like this? But no, it's one of my favorites from the EP, definitely. It's like, and it gives me like summer vibes, and I think it'll be nice for like the summertime. So yeah, really excited about that one.
Very cool. Yeah, so nothing to do with Fast Times is not part of the music video at all? Because you took the artworks from it looks similar to like Fast Times, right? Is that where you got it from, like the pool scene?
No. Oh no. So the artwork is actually from last summer, and it wasn't originally going to be the artwork, but I did this shoot with my friend Megan Hemsworth, and she's like an awesome photographer. She does like portraits and surf and stuff. And we did it in my friend's pool. So one of my friends has a pool, and I was like, can we do a shoot in the pool? And we were in the pool for like 2 hours. I got like really cold at the end of it. But yeah, it was like the end of last summer, and I had like some of these photos like in the bank, and I was kind of looking through them, and I was like, oh my God, these songs fit really well with the song. And so I ended up using that artwork as those pictures as the artwork, and like the pictures to like promote it and stuff.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I thought you were okay. Never mind. Have you seen the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
I don't think so.
Watch it and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. Fast Times.
All
awesome.
Right. Oh, that's funny. Cool. Okay, so that's awesome. What can you tell me what the idea of the video is going to be? Or are you going to save that?
So we're going to be like quite beachy. Something I wanted for the song was to like, I kind of like this like Super 8 idea. I guess it depends how it turns out in the end, but the idea I had for it was very like dreamy, very beachy, very summery. Hopefully the weather is good tomorrow, but like quite surfy. I think very on brand for me, because like, you know, something that's so important to me is like my surf community that I've grown up in. And I really try to capture that in my music and my imagery and like my visual, because that's like me. And yeah, something that we tried really hard with the EP was like that surf rock feel, because that's something that's so important to us as a band, because I mean my boys from the band are all from Cornwall, and you know, all of us like surf and stuff, so yeah,
That's
so it was really
cool.
important.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly where you were from, so I looked it up before, and then because I was like, oh, the record's called California Fire. I'm from Southern California, so like I
Oh,
read that and I
cool.
was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I looked at it, and it looks very similar to San Diego, where I grew up.
Oh yeah. Oh, amazing. I really want to go to California. I've never actually been to California Fire. So I feel like a fraud putting this EP out called California Fire. I've never been.
No, but it makes sense. It all makes sense. But so there's, yeah, it looks like you can surf and everything where you're from, or you live, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm in St. Ives, which is yeah, it's like right at the bottom of Cornwall.
Hmm.
Um, we actually had like Donovan used to come down here and write a lot of his music down here, and it's like a
Oh,
very
wow.
much a hub for music. Like there's lots of people who are passionate about music here, and you know, growing up, like when I was like early teens, I go to like these writers' rounds with like these old men in pubs. We'd sit in a circle and just sit and play music together for like hours. And yeah, it's got a great music hub down here, definitely.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Bailey, thank you so much for taking time to hang out with me today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. One more quick question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
By aspiring artists, I think it's just kind of like finding your niche and like really pushing that, like finding what makes you you and interesting and different to other people, and just really focusing on that. Because I think something that makes artists so interesting and unique is like Stevie Nicks. Do you know what I mean? Like she's got like that voice, and she really hones in on that voice and her style. And I think, you know, if you've got like a unique thing, really don't be afraid to share it, like really exaggerate it to all you can. You know, it's what makes you you. And I think just really stick with it and just, yeah, believe in yourself.